bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come on, May, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're always a day away, away. The sun will come out tomorrow, so you bet your dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with the day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come on, May, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're always a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're always a day away.
Oh, what a great way to kick off the morning, Yaron.
Thank
Good
you.
morning to you.
Good morning.
Right, so we're joining from sunny Southern California, and the sun is out here today, isn't it?
Yes, beautiful sun.
Beautiful.
Today
I
and
love
tomorrow.
yeah, today and tomorrow. It's all time is an illusion anyway. So I love your backdrop. It's so animated.
Thank you. It is actually animated.
Well, a nod to Gordon, right? So
Yes, thank
quite
you.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for leading us in this morning in a way, giving us a charge to open our minds for what is to come on this great first day of spring in the year of 2021. So, ladies and gentlemen, Yaron Spiwak, the music director here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And a big, huge good morning to each and every one of you if you're joining us from Facebook Live and or Zoom. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I'm privileged and proud to be here with you today as we come together for our Sunday celebration service here on Zoom and Facebook as we come together via technology. It's been, I think today marks 1 year and one Sunday that we've now celebrated our Sunday service in this manner. Hard to believe that this amount of time has passed, but indeed it has, and we're here, and it's such an honor to be together. And I invite you to take a moment and just honor yourself for the journey that we've all been on, and just give yourself the space to enjoy the today as we prepare for the tomorrow, and just take a deep breath in and anchor yourself in the space that you're in, and let's commune together for our Sunday celebration service. I'm going to put the graphics on the screen as we kick off our morning. A big hello once again to each and every one of you, the CSL LA community. This week, we've taken a look in a new way at the act of namaste. And I invite us each to open our mind and our heart and our soul together as we come together in this act of namaste. I sent out a text this week, speaking of the namaste, that when one places their hands together in prayer position over the heart and bows forward, that act is honoring the divine, the presence, the power, the oneness of life itself that exists in me, in you. And so let's all do that together right now to bring us together in a more intentional way in this field of technology and of oneness. Ready? Namaste. The divine in me honors and acknowledges the divine in you. As a community, the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, we've been coming together for a little over 30 years now. And we are a non denominational community in the sense that we are not a traditional religion. We're a spiritual based community that honors each and every individual. My favorite Ernest Holmes quote of all times is Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. And so today we honor the you and we welcome all of the yous we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all gender expressions, all abilities, for we stand with you and we want you to know that with us here in this very safe space of the virtual field, we welcome one and we welcome all. And so, as I said before, we are a community that's come together for a little over 30 years. And we come together primarily to teach the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of the philosophy and way of life and faith way of living known as the science of mind. But inclusive in that and is other New Thought teachings that all are congealed in a way to put together a way of living where we understand and apply ourselves in the way of knowing that there's only one thing taking place in life. That's the activity of the divine or the activity of mind. Both words, both statements are true. And that you and I both experience and express this oneness, this life itself, through our thoughts and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with the very thing itself. That's because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law, and as we practice knowing who we are as a divine being and using this spiritual law consciously, we make a difference on the planet. We begin by doing that, by honoring the qualities of the divine that exist within each and every one of us, all sentient beings, actually, which are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so today it's my intention and my invitation for each of us to become more aware of those qualities that exist within us, peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, and then choose to give them back out to the universe. As we own them and express them, then they will not only make a difference out in the universe, in the field of experience that we all share together, but it will come back to us multiplied abundantly because that's the way the universe works. And so we come together not only to fulfill that intention and invitation, but to live out the vision of our community, which is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, you've answered the call to come together in this way, to become more spiritually awakened to your own nature, to live from that perspective to the best of your ability, and in so doing, find greater personal self-empowerment. And so I know that that's unfolding for each and every one of us today as we move into the Sunday celebration service that we have for you. We have a fun and wonderful and deeply spiritual service that is planned for us today. We open our service on Sunday mornings with what's called a ritual. A ritual is something that is done on a repetitive basis for the purpose of the remembrance of each time it's done, feeling that energy of connection that we all share, as well as to become aligned with the truth of our being. And so the ritual that we do each and every Sunday morning is called calling in the light. Remembering that light is one of the qualities of the divine that exists by means of you and by me. We shall call it in to become ever more aware of it, and then to express it. And so today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence that we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. And so in your mind's eye, I invite you to see the candles on the screen and feel the flickering flame as if it was flickering inside you. And as we continue with our ritual and feel the vibrations shift during this experience, may we become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which includes you and me, as I said before. In the next phase of our ritual, we always use an affirmation or a proverb or a prayer. Today, I would like to read a prayer written by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the teaching of the science of mind. And I invite you to hear it for yourself as the truth for you. I know there is a power for good which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. I know there is a power for good that enables me to help others and to bless the world. So I quietly say to myself, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It is flowing through me, circulating in me. I am one with its rhythm. My heart beats with the pulsation of the universe in serenity, in peace, and in joy. My whole physical being is animated by the divine spirit. And if there's anything in it that does not belong, it is cast out, because there is one perfect life in me now. I am. I am. I am. So as we allow this energy to continue to resonate through us and pulsate through us, we shall continue the ritual by singing a song called Calling in the Light. Yaron will take us through that, and the lyrics will be on the screen.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light. Oh, so it is, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Yaron.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much. So I know that the next couple that I'm going to introduce are someone that's very dear to you. It's our guest musicians today. We've had this wonderful couple with us before, and I'm so excited to have them with us here again today, John Shartzer and Cassie Murphy. They'll bring them to the screen. They're here to say a big hello.
Hello.
Hello, John and Cassie. How are you this morning?
We're great. I shouldn't have said hello like that because our dogs are now activated.
Well, we established earlier in rehearsal, you know that you're loud, so.
I am loud. I get that from my Italian mother.
Well, it's all part of it. Well, so happy to have you here. It's been a while, and we had hoped to have you for our holiday concert, and you had some surgery and were unable to commit. And so it's been some time, so I know that you're perfectly healed and just ready to share your gifts and your talents.
We're ready. We've been charging it up.
Good. That's a great thing. So share with us the name and the title of the first song you're singing for us.
We will be singing A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy John and Cassie.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home.
They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we desire.
'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day.
They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care, so call me crazy. Run away to a world that we desire. Every night I lie in bed, brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all
world we're gonna make.
Ah, so lovely.
Yay!
Beautiful. Yeah, and we are making it, right? The world, we are making it.
We
I
really
love
are.
the lyrics and the journey of those lyrics and how it speaks to not only envisioning it, but then closing our eyes, because that closing of the eyes symbolizes obviously going within and also taking you into the fertile soil of planting the seed to harvest the good, the theme for this month. But also, most recently in our class, we've been doing the work of closing our eyes and in meditation, and then using the back of the eyelids as what's called the optic screen so that you can visualize whatever you want. So, thank you for taking us on that journey today.
Very
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you again for
Very
having
welcome.
us.
You're welcome. I know you have another song for us after my message, so look forward to sharing that with you again. Thank you, and big applause and most beautiful presentation. Cassie and John, everyone. What a pleasure to have you guys here. Well, as I said just then, that the song that they sang absolutely ties in with the theme that we have for the month of March, which is planting seeds and harvesting good. This morning, my message for us is going to continue with the theme, and I have visuals for us all along the way this morning. And as I was researching, preparing to look at the concept of planting seeds and harvesting good, I learned that it typically takes 10 days to 2 weeks for a seed to germinate. And so I invite you to keep that in mind today as we take a look at not only continuing to plant seeds for the dreams that we have for the world that we desire to make again, but to understand that there is a necessity for the time that the seed is in the darkness of the soil and that fertile time of the soil itself. Today is March 21st in the year 2021. Spring is here, and it's such a wonderful thing. Today's the first full day of spring, but yesterday marked the marking of the spring equinox, a time when the hours of daylight and dark are equally balanced, and overall marking a time, metaphysically speaking, of balance and of wholeness. This is a time that, up until the 18th century, was considered by many parts of Europe to mark the start of a new astrological year. When even way back when people would perform rituals to cleanse out old energy in both themselves and in their homes. And at a deeper spiritual level, according to a writing by an individual called the Conscious Reminder, the equinox is thought to represent that period of struggle between darkness and light, death and life. It occurs when the night and the day will be equal, and the journey of the sun to actually get there also signifies the journey of the universe. And so it's the spring season that we are kicking off today. And the spring season is that time when the light will start increasing so that we'll experience more light, such as illuminating, reminding us that the light will always return to the earth. Imagine living in a time where you did not have the awareness, the intellectual knowledge to know that it was coming back, that this equinox would represent new beginnings and the path and seeds of intention, which is exactly what Cassie and John were speaking about. As the day and night will equal yesterday on the 20th of March, this equinox will also be the representation of our needs for balance during this period. And so today, my intention is for us to take a fresh look at how to bring forth into our lives balance and renewal and growth and release. And so we can use this equinox, this turn of the time, to awaken ourselves to begin anew, to choose to see today as a new day, a new beginning. We know through this teaching, this philosophy, this faith and way of life that the principle of life itself is not bound by precedent. So you and I can shift our thinking, create a new thought, create a new belief system, create a new state of mind, and the universe, because the way it works, responds to us. So we're called today, and I'm inviting us today to become conscious and cognizant and intentional with the choices that we make, to make good choices as we kick off this new season of 2021 spring. It's been quite a year, as we all know, of both not only going through quarantine and the pandemic, but having to connect in this way technologically. And I'm sure that many of you, much like me, are tired of this, and yet knowing that it's going to continue for a while, that it's still incumbent upon us to create a fresh new attitude and to live from that perspective, to not let darkness win out. I love this little animated graph because it speaks to that struggle that we have within us of darkness and light. It reminds me of the quote from Martin Luther King of darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Also, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And so today we're called to look at this as a metaphor for life, to engage in love, not just the esoteric human love as I speak of oftentimes, but the agape love. Love, as Ernest Holmes defines, as the self-givingness of spirit whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself. And the only way that can do that is through you and through me. And the only way it can do that through you and through me is if we're willing to have a new dream, if we're willing to start anew, if we're willing to choose light as the way. And so moving into spring 2021, it reminds me of living back in the East Coast where the weather was a bit more intense. And when spring would come around, we would begin spring cleaning in our physical homes. It was time to literally sweep up the cobwebs, as Snoopy is doing on the screen right now, to cleanse our physical surroundings of everything that has been entombed, if you will, during the dark times of the winter, when we had to keep our homes closed up and tried to stay warm and lived during that time, that fertile time of creation, if you will, of the seeds being planted. But now they're planted and it's time for us to start anew. And as we've all been on this journey, today I want us to look at spring cleaning from a more modern perspective. All that's required of us to live in this modern world of spring cleaning, as we see on the screen, is to let the cat ride the Roomba, the man ride the electric skateboard, and push the vacuum, which can be controlled by our telephone, along. To be willing today to see things from a new perspective. I love this poem that I sent out in this morning's text, which we also used in class this week, from Maddie J. Stepanek on beginning to see things anew, using windows. And his poem is this: windows are a very good thing to have. They let you look out and see all different things. And they let you look in to see all the different things. And do you know what's the most special window of all? The window in your heart. That's between the heaven and the earth and the heaven and the sky. And so today, you and I have the opportunity to use this love, this self-givingness, to look at the window in our heart and let go of what's not working, open up to what we want to have working, and have one big spring clean. And to remember that as we choose to clean out the cobwebs of our mind, there is a law of life that responds to us. It responds to us because we're always at choice. This morning, I'm going to use a guide by Reverend Dr. David Alt called Spring Cleaning to guide us to begin to think anew. And it's a bit lighthearted, and yet at the same time, it really gives us the instruction of some very practical ways in how to clean out the cobwebs of mind and to start anew as we enter into this new phase of life where the light is ever so present. We'll kick it off by hearing this quote of this: "The sun you do not see will suddenly shine on you as you begin taking action." And so you're going to be called to take action this morning through this message and his breaking of the down of spring cleaning. This Chinese proverb tells us that inspiration does not beget action. Action begets inspiration. And so for you and I to have a different experience in life, we must be willing to have a different expression. And so spring cleaning begins. S, obviously for spring, stands for sweet. And what are we here to sweep? He tells us to sweep up and throw away your excuses as to why you can't or won't do something. Stop being the one who merely comments on what is wrong and start being the one who offers solution. What a great calling for us to take action and to remove the dust balls in our mind of excuses as to why we can't or won't do something. Today is the day that you and I get to choose to use our mind, to use our heart, to use our being in a way to be a part of the solution in life. And yes, we know as old school metaphysicians that it all begins and ends with prayer. To use our affirmative prayer of spiritual mind treatment and meditation and affirmations. But also as age-old metaphysicians, we've always heard that statement, treat and move your feet. Move your feet to sweep out that which isn't working for you and let yourself be open to what is, which takes us to P in the word spring. P stands for polish. We know that polish is the act of revealing what is inherently there. The revealing act is also a healing act, according to Ernest Holmes. Or what are we to polish? Excuse me, according to Dr. David Alt, we're here to polish your heart with all its unwavering and steadfast passion and allow it to lead you to unlimited ways of creatively expressing who you are and what you love. Excuse me. To polish your heart with all of its unwavering and steadfast passion and allow it to lead you to unlimited ways of creatively expressing who you are and what you love. Maddie told us in the poem a while ago that the window to our heart exists between the heaven on earth and the heaven in the sky. In other words, it's this place where we choose to express our love, that we bring together our everyday life and the life of spirit that's desires to express more of itself as itself, which the only way it can do that is through you and through me. And so what we're being told here is through the act of polishing, of revealing what is our heart, to remember that deep within it is an unwavering and steadfast passion of us being able to creatively express ourselves, and in so doing, to express who we are and what we love. In other words, to honor within us that stamp of individuality that has been placed upon us, that is called itself you and me. And to then let that shine out into the world as we move to the letter R. R, which stands for rinse. So what are we here to rinse? Well, the act of rinsing is to washing away, with clean water, to remove any dirt or silt or anything that tarnishes, if you will, the cleanliness, the purity of that which exists within you and within me. He tells us to rinse away all of the self-doubt that has long coated your motivation and become willing to reacquaint yourself with a shiny, untarnished, and larger sense of self. I don't know about you, but I can certainly speak for myself. There have been times when I feel like the walls are closing in during this time of pandemic. And there have certainly been times when I feel as if my motivation to express my uniqueness, my motivation to get out and live life in a fresh way, certainly has been coated over. It's been tarnished. But today, we know that the light is not just at the end of the tunnel. The light is from within us that we get to shine as we are all moving towards the vaccination process and beginning to live in a world that is different than it was before, not meaning that we shouldn't stay conscious of our actions, but life is beginning to return a bit back to what it was from a practical perspective, that you and I are being called today to rinse away any self-doubt on this first day of spring, and then to be willing to reacquaint ourselves and all others with this shiny and tarnished larger sense of self. In other words, that place within us where nothing is impossible within the realm of possibility, which then takes us to the letter I, which stands for increase. You and I have the opportunity to increase how we express ourselves in life and our experience because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law. But David tells us to increase your circle of influence with those who see the glass half full, brimming with possibility, and champion you to do the same. What we're being called for in this act of increase is to consciously engage ourselves in life in a way that we only participate with those consciously who choose to see life as brimming with possibility. In other words, to create a world that is reflective, a mirror image of who and what we are as people that know that life is possible, that know that making good choices is a healthy way to live, by knowing that the divine exists within us, waiting for its fullest expression to be made by you and by me. And we can only do that when we choose to then let it out, to increase letting our spiritual nature out into the universe, which is a result of how we nurture and nourish it and become very clear of that which exists within us, which then takes us to the letter N, which stands for neaten. He tells us to neaten your environment and create a sanctuary that is pleasing to the eye. You'll feel the difference both physically and emotionally. Well, why is that important for us? For starters, the act of neatening is a choice. And remember, choice is the engine of evolution. And so if you and I choose to evolve into a greater expression of ourselves, we can only do that by making a choice. But in this act of neatening our environment and creating a sanctuary that is pleasing to the eye, what we're doing for ourselves is creating this act of remembering that the outer reflects the inner and vice versa. And so when you and I create a sanctuary, an environment that is pleasing to the eye, we are honoring that place within us where peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom lives. And in so doing, we'll not only feel the difference, both physically and emotionally, but it's a cycle. And through that feeling of knowing that there is order around us, that there is beauty in front of us, that there is joy from within us, it will then propagate more of itself and multiply more of itself through us, because that's the way it works. Which then takes us to the letter G of the word spring, which is to groom. I love this one because it calls us to a very specific act, and it's certainly made me more conscientious of not having had a haircut in a while or trimming my gray beard. And so today is the day to take action on that, I believe. But what he tells us here is to groom your mind as you would groom your physical self. To groom your mind as you would groom your physical self. Every day, look into the mirror of your being and adjust your thoughts. Brush away the negativity and begin to consciously apply the law of attraction for your good. I love this call because we're being told to not only groom our mind, but then to look into the mirror of our being, to look into ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we thinking? What are we knowing? What do we believe as possible and true? And what do we believe about ourselves? It reminds me so often, as I spoke of this last week in a class that I'm taking, of my first big metaphysical seminar that I took with Dr. Raymond Charles Barker in Atlanta in the early 80s. And I remember he taught us all about spiritual mind treatment that day. And he was up in years and he was vivacious and very direct, as old school metaphysicians can be. And our charge was to go home and stand in front of the mirror and speak our spiritual truth out loud. And I was so deeply hesitant to do that, but yet I did it in my age of 23 or 24 years old. And in so doing, something shifted in me. I then began to learn what we teach in this teaching is that your word has power. Your actions have consequences, but not consequences in the sense of that they're here to harm or hurt you. But because we live in a world of cause and effect, we get to experience the outer as a reflection of what's taking place in the inner. Therefore, let's choose to groom our mind, groom our thinking, groom our communication skills in a way to reflect our own divine nature, and to do that consciously and with clarity, which then moves us to the word cleaning. First letter of the word cleaning for spring cleaning is C. C stands for clear. He tells us to clear out the clutter. He's speaking physically of this, of course. Take out what you haven't used or worn in the last year and donate it to a charity. By clearing out the old, the new can finally come in. The purpose of clearing out is to remove, to make space, to create good, and to be in the flow of it. By clearing out physical stuff in our life and donating it to charity, then as he writes, the new can come in. But that's also still very true for us mentally. To clear out the clutter of our thinking, to clear out the clutter of how we may know ourselves to be that may be less than the divine, living as a perfect whole and complete being. And in so doing, we'll open ourselves up to a new idea, to a new thought, to a new belief. And to do this not only as an act of clearing, but for the purpose of revealing clarity. I remember years ago in this teaching when I finally got it, that it's incumbent upon us to be clear on who we are as spiritual beings, and should we be challenged with that, our affirmation or treatment for ourselves is I open myself up to be clear so that it may show up. I know that that's unfolding for you as well today as we begin to clean out the cobwebs of what was and open ourselves up to a new expression of life, letting light be the guide, which takes us to the next letter of L, which is to lighten. Now, lighten oftentimes means to illuminate, to make brighter. In this case, he's speaking of it to be less heavy, to lighten up and stop taking yourself so seriously and your situation so seriously. If joy is our birthright, then allow the quality of being to help lead you down the path of rediscovering and sustaining joy and happiness. Remember that inherent within us is joy, is light, as well as life, and peace and power, and beauty, and wisdom. And so you and I have the ability today to just lighten it up. Just by saying it, we can feel it, which then takes us to the letter E, which is to empty. Empty means to create space that is currently unoccupied, to remove and make a conscious act of letting go. David tells us to empty out your bag of regrets and know that this now moment is the beginning of creating whatever life you desire, just as the lyrics of the song that John and Cassie sang to us was. So let's you and I empty today our bag of regrets and know that this very moment is the beginning of creating whatever life we desire. And what we choose to focus on today colors and creates the tomorrow that Yaron sang of earlier. That we're up to the task to let go and to have faith that in this empty space that we've created, Spirit will fill it with not only the image and likeness, but the energy of what it is, which then takes us to the letter A, which is to then arrange, which means to organize, have a house in order, and to do that with clarity and purpose. David tells us to arrange your time on this journey of spring cleaning and opening yourselves up to the new way of living with lightness. To arrange your time so that you have equal parts work and play, and to understand that one isn't more important than the other, that both play vital and necessary roles in developing an optimum lifestyle. In other words, just as we plant a seed and allow it to live in that fertile soil, what we've now learned is sometimes up to 2 weeks before it can just germinate. That's the same thing for us to live this time so that we work and then play, so that we can then work and play. both bringing forth to us a balanced and optimum lifestyle that is reflecting our divine nature, reflecting that within us that needs the space and the energy and time to become fertile and take root so that it may emerge as a manifestation or demonstration in our life, which now moves us to the letter N, which stands for number. He tells us to number your goals and keep them in sight, referring to them often. And when one is accomplished, replace it with a number, always raising the stakes to see just how much good you can embody. This sparked memories in my life of when I lived my life based on goals and objectives and intentions in doing this. And I now commit today to doing that again, remembering that it's through that act of clarity and vision and setting goals and then doing my part of work and play and trusting that the law of life will do its part. Then it will indeed show up, and has time and time and time again, because once again, as we know, the principle of life is not bound by precedent. So as you and I have accomplished our goals and objectives in the past, so too can we do that in the future if we're willing to play a conscious role in the co-creative process and to not only make our goals, but to number them. Which then takes us to the letter I in the word cleaning, which stands for inhabit. The definition of inhabit is to occupy, to live in. Well, to live in what? David says. He says, inhabit your days with acts of unconditional love. In other words, to live out our days with acts of reflecting the divine that exists within us, to let our God out to play. He says to make it your intention to cherish and champion the good of others without expecting anything in return. We've learned time and time again that our role in this co-creative process is to make the intention, because inherent within the seed of intention is the fulfillment of its desire. But we're being called to a higher idea today here to make our intention to cherish and champion the good of others, to see and honor through the act not only just of namaste, but of conscious knowing that each and every sentient being has good within them and they deserve to experience and express that. And so it's our role to honor it, to know it, to hold it true, and to support it as it unfolds in each and every one of those individuals, which then takes us to the letter N. Nail, not yourself to the cross, but to nail up and complete any wobbly communication and unfinished business. And if it simply isn't possible to take immediate care of it, then create a plan to do so, but with acts of unconditional love. To tidy up, we're being told that in life, as we begin anew, start in this act of renewal, start in this time of balancing light and darkness in our life, to plant this seed of cleaning up our own internal house, of any unfinished business or wobbly communication or unfinished business. And that as we do that, this in and of itself is an act of cleansing, of renewal, of opening up by emptying out that which was and healing it, and then being open to see what possibilities can become made manifest as Spirit does its thing through us, which then takes us to the last letter of G. And he writes, gather up your friends and family and let them know how much you appreciate them. Let you and I gather them today and announce to the world that we are showing up today in a new framework of mind, that we're here to make a difference by choosing to use our power of spring cleaning in a modern way, our mind, and letting love be the guide. For it's important to remember that every single day is a fresh start, one that requires commitment and bravery and forgiveness and acts of unconditional love to ourselves and to others. And so as we continue on this journey of planting seeds and harvesting good through this month of March, let's remember that we get to play a role on where we grow from here. Certainly been a journey over the last year. No one could have ever predicted what was coming our way, but look at what we have not only survived and thrived in, but it shows that we have within us the spiritual musculature to now take a quantum leap in our life and to consciously engage life anew, to consciously engage life from a new perspective. For today is the day that you and I get to choose how we want to kick off spring 2021 and to nourish ourselves on the journey. Louise Hay tells us that nourishing myself is a joyful experience and I'm worth the time spent on my healing. You are worth the time. So I encourage you this week and the weeks ahead to take the time to find one or more of the actions that were being called forth in that modern approach to spring cleaning of the mind and life, and to enjoy every single moment of it. And to remember that you and I know that there's a power for good which is responding to us, and that we bring into our experience everything that is necessary for its unfoldment, which includes our happiness, our peace, our health, and our success. And let's know together that there is a power for good that enables us to help others and to bless the whole world as we start anew today. And so let's say quietly together, as we began earlier today, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. It's flowing through me, circulating in me. I am one with its rhythm. My heart beats with the pulsation of the universe in serenity and peace and in joy, for my whole physical being is animated by the divine spirit. If there's anything that doesn't belong, it's cast out with an act of unconditional love, because there's one perfect life in me right now. And so it is. Thank you. Hope that you have a great day. John and Cassie are going to come back and sing a song for us that's going to continue this journey of encouraging us to see things anew. John and Cassie, take it away.
All right, all right.
Hello. Well, we just want to say thank you for having us here this morning. We're really lucky to start our spring with you guys as well. We'll be singing Brave. It's by Sarah Bareilles. And we couldn't think of a better song to start our spring with.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle neath your skin. Keeping on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, fallen for the fear and done some disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. Don't run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say, and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. What a great song. What a great
Such a
song.
good
Thank you so
song.
much.
Sarah Bareilles.
Sarah Bareilles, she's the one, right?
She's the real deal.
Yeah, well, so is John Shartzer and Cassie Murphy.
Hey,
So,
Thank you.
guys.
real deal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Love having you here.
Love being
It's
here.
very good. 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 So, everyone, now is the time that you come together to support our community financially. It's called Conscious Giving, and it's deeply appreciated. And it's an opportunity to support the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles on our journey of continuing to find our personal self empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so, on behalf of all who benefit from your conscious giving, I want to say thank you. The options to the ways to do that is to go to our website, www.csl-la.org, and click on donate, or you can go to the app that we have in the App Store and find all kinds of wonderful things, as you can also do that on our website, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and click on the upper left bars and the screen will come up and see the donate tab. Or you can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Or you can call me privately if you'd like to do that. The number's on the screen at 310-963-1653. Once again, thank you in advance, and know that we deeply appreciate all your financial support on this journey of life itself. Yaron will come on the screen and take us through our conscious giving song as we all take a moment to do our part in giving consciously. Yaron, and he will sing the song and you can sing along. It's called Love Is My Decision.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision, yeah, my decision right here, right now.
And I affirm for each of us that as we give, we do so with an open mind and open heart, trusting and knowing that the law of life does its part, and as we give, so shall we receive. That the universe is abundant by nature as we each are. And so we expand our faith today and give for the purpose of our own individual growth and expansion. By living in the possibilities of what is to come, we consciously choose to engage in our prosperous nature. All in the universe benefit from this as we live in this cycle of giving and receiving. We say thank you for the opportunity to be present in the presence as we say together, amen, and so it is. Thank you, Yaron. Thank you to each of you. I want to give you some announcements really quickly. I want to let you know that our final class for this class series called The Essential Earnest Homes takes place this Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's been a really fantastic class of returning to the basics, but doing it in a way of awakening ourselves to what are the foundational components of this metaphysical teaching, as well as giving us time for self-reflection, as well as some very provocative ways of looking at ourselves on this journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. So if you would like to take the last class, you're more than welcome to come and do that. You do not have to have taken the previous 7 classes, which then takes me to the announcement of the next class that begins on April the 7th, which is called The Journey of Awakening. In this series, we'll look at the intersection of awakening to our spiritual nature and walking the steps of the journey of life. We'll incorporate spiritual practices of meditation, spiritual mind treatment, and many other things as well. We will look at creating habits of ritual, of shifting perspectives, and connecting to the place where spirit is. There is curriculum for that. You can find all that information on our weekly e-newsletter that'll go out. It's a $25 per class tuition or $180 paid in advance. It will be on Zoom, and scholarships are available. If you would like to inquire about those, you can contact me or a board member for more information. Our board members' information can be found on our website and or on our weekly e-newsletter or on our app. As well, I continue on Wednesday mornings doing a morning meditation that takes place at 8:30. It goes from 8:30 to basically 9, sometimes a little less. It's a wonderful time to come together on Wednesday mornings to connect throughout the middle part of the week and to engage in meditation, one of the most powerful spiritual practices that exist. Those are recorded. You don't have to have your camera on, but you can access them later on through our website as well. Also, all of this information is a part of goes out on our weekly e-newsletter that takes place the first part of the week. Hope you're receiving those. That has all the information about what's taking place here, as well as you can find that on our website, csl-la.org, or on Facebook, on our Facebook page or Instagram page. Please follow us on all of those, as well as you can find information out on our YouTube channel. Also, just a reminder that there is now a daily text that goes out that's called A New Thought for the Day. It's a short little morning pick-me-up affirmation. If you are not receiving those and would like to do so, you can reach out to us and we can get those sent to you, as well as if there's anybody in your life that you would like to also have received them. It'd be great to get their permission first, but you can send me that information via text, via email, or respond to the text that goes out and give me their name and number. Be happy to do that. We have practitioners that are available to work with you on your healing mentally and emotionally and spiritually. If you want to know more about who and what you are, that information once again can be found through the various resources of where information is for us. So please avail yourself of those. I'm excited to share with you that next Sunday we continue our conversations with Reverend Dr. Keith that have been a once a month activity. Next Sundays will be on Trans Awareness Day, and it'll be a long time friend of mine, longtime friend of mine named Gabrielle Claiborne, who is an incredibly accomplished woman in the trans community, approaching life and personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Just a delightful, intelligent, articulate, compassionate, beautiful being of light. And I encourage you to not only be a part of this next Sunday, but to invite anyone in your life that you'd like to have be educated a little more in the trans world and how to look at that from a spiritual perspective. And so I'm very excited about this conversation that takes place next Sunday in our Sunday service. Also want to give some big thank yous right now. A big thank you to Robert Hensley for taking care of us technologically and keeping us alive through social media and all the work that you do for us for that and our administrative work. A big thank you and shout out to Travis Smith, who is our audio technician, who also works diligently to help us present to you the best that we can, audibly and technologically. A big thank you to Yaron Spiwak, our music director, who works diligently to support and book our acts and to help pick the music that we do and then guide us through the rehearsal process and then sings for us each and every Sunday as well. And then a big thank you to our musical artists today, our guests, John Shartzer and Cassie Murphy. What a delight to have both of you here with us today and sharing your light. A huge, huge thank you. And a huge thank you to each of you for joining us today, whether it was through Zoom or Facebook, or you're watching us at a later date on YouTube and access through our website. Please know that you're deeply appreciated and honored. As we close out today in meditation, I will remind us that we are on the brink of spring cleaning in our mind. And post this meditation, we'll say goodbye to those of you that are joining us on Facebook. And if you're here on Zoom, we'll have the opportunity to turn our cameras on and our microphones and just have a moment of connection in that way. So with that said, let's close out with a meditation. So we all just take a deep breath in and exhale. As we peer into the back of our eyelids, if that's safe for us to do so right now. We begin to see the emergence of the germinated seed that has taken root and beginning to fruit and grow through the soil. Letting that be a visual metaphor for what is transpiring in our life right now. The newness in life emerging through the fertile soil, reaching to the sun. The sun being representative of the source of light. But remembering that the sun reflects. Sending out energy as we then reflect its energy. And so being infused with this energy of life itself, we each choose. Today is the day for renewal, for restoration, for spring cleaning. And revel in the opportunity and the possibilities of what is to come. And so we make good choices. With deep foundational beliefs that the law of life is always doing its part, responding to us impersonally. And so then we choose to live out acts of unconditional love. For here we grow again. Here we grow again. Letting it be as we say together, Amen. And so it is.